I'm not an expert on relationships or a theologian. I'm just sharing what I'm reading. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the right thing to do and just an opportune moment. When we're working to make changes in our lives and relationships, we may be uncertain of what to do at times. When this happens, we need to rely on God's wisdom to help us make our decisions. In trying to get our will to God, it's important to know what His will is in a given situation. When we aren't sure what to do, we can look to see if the Bible gives us any guidance on similar situations. Then we'll have a clear view of what it means to turn our will over to God. We can try to earn our way and be good enough for God, but we'll never be good enough because God is very holy and perfect. Our effort will fall far short. True love puts grace and truth together. As people, we tend to separate them, either truth or grace. I knew someone, they're what you call a good person. They weren't a criminal, and they tried to do right. But when they got married and had a spouse, it's like they couldn't admit that they sinned and made mistakes in a relationship. Always defensive. It's like their relationship became a complete nightmare, and they became abusive towards their spouse. Every time their spouse tried to bring up something, it's like they'd say, "I'm a good person." Not so many words, but that's kind of how they would respond. By God Himself stepping in to make atonement for us through the second member of the Trinity, Jesus, it frees us from the hamster wheel, from hell, always having to run and perform and to be good enough. God's grace allows us to be free. So if the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8:36. God loves us as we are. God still has expectations for us to grow and mature like a good parent does their child. Be a good steward, learn to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, etc. But God doesn't stop loving us even if we mess up. Not so we can keep doing wrong, but He gives us grace and sets us free and loves us unconditionally. If we did have to earn God's love, how would we ever know we were right with God and had earned enough? And when we fail, which we all do because we're human, what would happen to all our work then? It'd be like a sandcastle that falls apart in the waves when the ocean comes up on the shore. The subject of sin can be hard for some of us because of the shame that we feel for things that we've done, like Adam and Eve did in the garden, and went and hid in the bushes when they sinned. We tend to minimize sin, especially when we're the ones that sin. But God doesn't minimize sin. Every heartbreak another human being has brought us has to be atoned for. Every sin another human being has done to another has to be atoned for. God gives us grace so we can learn to love our neighbor better and more fully. Like I said with prayer, we can't manipulate God to make Him do anything. He's the Creator. He can do anything He wants. If He does something, it's in spite of us, not because of us.
That is the biggest freaking alligator I have ever seen in my life. Jesus, they must be 15 feet long.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wow, you ever seen anything that big?
No, never.
I think that's two guys in an alligator suit. Dave, get next to it for perspective.